Do 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 do. Justin Guitar Module 5, I believe. Module 5. Theory and strumming skills. I think I was supposed to write music theory there. Basic theory it's supposed to be called. Hang on. I'm gonna edit the title. I saw that we're learning a new chord, the C chord, which I did actually learn many, many years ago, probably 8 or 9 years ago, and yeah, terrible, but here we are again. I really should have been like a master by now, if there's any such thing, but at least good by now, you know, but no. So what are we doing? C chord is the first thing up. Hopefully you can hear it. I don't know for certain if you can hear this or not, but here we go. Oh, this is the intro, I guess.
Hey, how you doing? Justin here. Welcome to lesson 5 on my beginner guitar course. Lots of interesting stuff for you coming up today. We're going to be looking at the C chord, which is probably not the easiest chord that we've looked at so far. It's a little bit stretchy. I found it a bit awkward too, but to tell the truth, I got it together faster than I thought I would, and I'm hoping that you will too. We're going to check out a bit more about strumming, about like the overall picture of how strumming works and about adding in extra strums and making up your own strumming patterns. It's a fairly big deal. I was about to refilm it, and I watched the video that I made of the same lesson a few months back, and I'm like, this does it. I don't need to do this one again, so don't freak out. I'm wearing a different t-shirt, but the content of that video is really super, and I'm sure you're going to have a lot of fun when you understand a bit more about like the overall picture of how strumming works. And yeah, anyway, it's a pretty big deal. We're going to talk a little bit more about a few specific patterns that I'd like you to try out during the week. We're going to discuss a thing I call the note circle, explain to you what sharps and flats are, how that works, the naming of the notes, and the 12 notes that we use in music for anyone who doesn't know that. We're also going to discuss making your own songbook and why I think it's a really good idea to collate all of the songs that you're learning into one place. I think it can be a really strong thing to be working on. And lastly, we're going to be checking out a super cool riff. It's Come As You Are by Nirvana. All-time classic, great guitar riff, lots of stuff to learn in
Never heard of it.
So not too much new stuff, but particularly with the C chord involved and learning some songs that are involved, that's going to, that's going to be your main challenges for this lesson. So let's get stuck in and check out the C chord.
I feel like I need to put my headphones in to not mess with the, mic feed. But then it always falls out my ears every time I use the headphones. So I feel like I need to wear the ones that go above, over the head. So anyway, the C chord. We're on the C chord. Yeah, but I really don't want to be worrying about the headphones falling out, you know?
Hey, Justin, back with you today. We're checking out how to play a C chord. Now, it isn't the easiest chord for beginners. It's one that I...
Oh, by the way, I haven't tuned my guitar, so I need to do that first, I think. I need to do that first. With my Korg. Let's go. Always the boring part, doing the tuning. Wow, that's way too sharp. Okay. I think that's okay. Now let's get on with the C chord. Putting it into the amp. How to play the C chord.
Today we're checking out how to play
I've forgotten
the C
it,
chord.
by the way, how to
Now,
do it.
it isn't the easiest chord for beginners. It's one that I found particularly challenging, but I'm going to give you as many tips as I can to help you get your C chord sorted out as quickly as possible. So, this is what a C chord looks like. We've got our first finger in the first fret of the second string.
Oh no, that is a bit of a
The
stretch.
second finger goes down in the second fret of the fourth string. So actually, if we put the third finger down there, we'd have an A minor chord. So it starts kind of like that. But now, third finger is reaching around to the third fret of the fifth string. So that's already, for some of you, going to be a pretty tricky situation to find your fingers in. The first couple of things to notice. One, the angle of the fingers. So it's not this. If you try and play a C chord like that, it's really, really difficult. Getting the stretch between those two fingers and the first finger. I can kind of do it, but definitely not left-handed. This is a real difficult way of playing the C chord. So just note, see, by angling the hand there, you end up, it's kind of like you're putting the fingers, you know, it's a lot easier that way. It's not actually stretching, it's just changing how much curling up they're doing, okay? Now, the challenge with the chord, the first thing is that we don't want to play the thicker string. We want that note to be dead. So when we put the third finger down, the tip of the third finger is touching the thicker string as well as pressing down this note. So it's holding that note down and muting the thicker string. Now again, when you first try and mute that thicker string, you're going to find it pretty difficult. And don't worry about it if you don't get it on the first few days that you're practicing the C chord. As soon as you feel like you got the rest of the notes ringing out true, then start to worry about just when you get the C chord down, just move that third finger over just that little bit to be able to mute that thicker string, because it is kind of an important part of the making the chord sound good. Now, as well as that, the third finger has to be on the tip enough to let this note ring out. Because if the third finger lays down too much, you'll find that it mutes the fourth string. So it's got a bit going on here. I think moving it slightly higher so that it's muting the fifth string, that will automatically clear the way for the fourth string. This note on the fourth string shouldn't be too much of a difficulty really, that unless you got your finger too far back and you get it buzzy or you're not pressing hard enough, you should have that one alright. Open third string. If it's dead, it's almost certainly the underneath of the second finger laying down a bit too much, like that. So you just make sure you're lifting, again, just moving the hand slightly further forward. You know, only a few millimeters will bring it out enough. I know it looks like I'm touching there, but still there's this little gap here between the first finger, where the first finger meets the hand and the guitar neck. It's not touching. Looks like it's kind of touching like that, I guess, but there's ever so slight gap. Later on you might want to touch it, but at the beginner stage I would definitely recommend leaving a very small gap there.
It's going to be a difficult chord to change to.
First finger, again, you should be fine with that. Make sure it doesn't creep too far forward and go a bit dead. And it needs to be right on the tip of the first finger, because you've got an open third string, the fretted note on the second string, and an open thinner string. You've really got to be on your the tippy toe, I was going to say, the tippy tip of your finger. Otherwise you're going to mute, if it's too flat, you're going to mute that thinner string. So as usual, we're going to be doing the strum, pick out the strings one at a time, including the thicker string, which should be dead.
Oh no.
And then when you've got them all happy, give it that strum. Most people find the C chord pretty tricky when they first encounter it. That's okay. You just got to persevere through that little difficult section. One thing that I think can really help is putting the fingers into the right place and then really thinking about this relaxed arm and the relaxed shoulder. Just trying to find a way where it feels comfortable. The fingers will be at an angle. If they're really square, that'll automatically put loads of tension into your wrist. So just having the fingers at an angle, a nice and relaxed elbow, relaxed, that's relaxed and loose together. Just really trying to keep that, you know, keep the feeling of it nice and comfortable, because that part of the challenge here is to find the right way for your anatomy to fret the chord easily. Okay, we're all slightly different, so we're all going to have slightly different challenges with the chord. Some people might find the C chord real simple. Great, awesome. Other people will find this like the hardest thing ever. You just got to find your way to get the fingers to sit right. And I think the key thing is that getting the fingers in the right place, and then just relaxing your arm and your hand and seeing if you can find a spot where the C chord feels pretty comfortable. Once you've got the C chord on its own, therefore the next kind of challenge becomes changing to it. So make sure that when you're doing your chord practice that you're doing the whole hand off and then finger 1, 2, 3, off. Yeah, I mean you're checking in between, checking all of the strings, but the actual removing of your hand and then trying to help it find its way back again is going to make it better when you start doing the chord changes like C to G or something like that, where you know, actually we don't start with C to G yet because we haven't done G chord yet, but C to D, for example, where all of the fingers have got to move quite a lot. It's not a super easy change unless you've got used to getting those fingers in position. It's just a practice thing, right? It is going to feel tough at the beginning, but you know, a couple of weeks practice, this one will be feeling just as easy as all of the other ones.
Well, that depends on how easy we find the other ones, I guess. So, G chord. You did say you're supposed to strum all the strings, didn't you? But you just meant to mute it. But, I don't know. Well, that's definitely not muted, but if I ignore that one, oh no. Yeah, it's going to be difficult to make the change and make it accurate on the chord changes. Yeah, I'm not pressing hard enough on the second finger. Bizarre. Quite like the sound of this one. Sounds quite nice. So bright, very bright. Next one, the best strumming exercise. I really don't like the strumming stuff. I don't even remember the stuff I was supposed to learn before. Oh, these are long videos.
How you doing? Justin here, and today I want to share with you a little lesson that I often give in live workshops but haven't done a video lesson for yet. And a lot of students reported this was a bit of a groundbreaking lesson for them. It's kind of like a big picture thing about how rhythm guitar works. And I think if you get to grips with this idea, can really expand your ability to be able to work out strumming patterns off songs and understand what's happening with the mechanics of your arm. So let's start off by talking about a bar of music, and we're just going to be starting real simple, looking at 4/4 time.
I'm going to put my headphones in just in case. Just in case things are weird. I don't really want to because it annoys me, but I will.
So 4/4 time has 4 beats in the bar. You would normally count this 1, 2, 3 and 4. And pretty much always you're going to do a down strum on the beat, which is the numbers. So it's often referred to as the down beat. The 1, 2, 3 and the 4, the down beat or the beat, and it will take a down strum. Now if you just do that, I'm just going to use a C chord here. If I do that and I just go 1, 2, 3, 4, and I use that all as downs, in between each down there's an up movement. Now we would normally count this as an and. Now if we count that as an and, we end up with a count that would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. The numbers, the 1, 2, 3 and the 4 being a down strum and the ands being an up strum. That gives us 8 possible strums in the bar. Okay, this is really big deal. Okay, so we'd have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now, any of you guys that are doing my beginner's course will probably already have heard me rant about this before, but it's really important that you keep your hand moving even if you're not strumming all the time. So if I was just strumming once on the beginning of each bar, I would still make all of those hand movements, but just let the pick touch the strings on beat 1. So I'd have like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now this kind of helps you keep time, but it's also a little bit about where you might add in some other strums as well, and in fact where we get all of our strumming patterns from. When I'm teaching this lesson at one of my workshops, I normally write on the whiteboard 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then I invite participants to circle some of those beats where we're going to put the strums on. It really can be any one. So long as you keep your hand moving, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, you can put the strum anywhere you like. Now, it's helpful at the beginning, when you first start doing this kind of idea, that you keep the strum on beat 1. It'll just help you keep into the groove with doing this sort of stuff. So when you get to making up your own patterns, I would recommend that you start by circling beat 1 and then look at circling some of the other ones. Now,
Please note that I can't talk about circling notes in the video. Oh, that I talk about circling notes in the video, but I can't make graphics for that easily, so I write the count in full every time and write D or U where notes will be played. Hopefully it will make sense as we go along. I doubt it. Let's see.
Now I found a couple of the examples that was used on one of the blackboards, a picture from one of the workshops, so I thought I'd use that just because it's kind of an interesting one. Now, the first one, somebody had said in the audience, okay, I want you to circle all of them except for beat 3. I think they were trying to be clever, but actually it works perfectly well. So we're going to be strumming 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and hand will be moving the same, but on the strum that would be on beat 3, which would be a down, we're going to leave that one off. So our hand will still move down, we just won't strum. So if we do that pattern, so 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. I just did it really super slowly there so you got the idea, and this is what I'd recommend.
Really slowly.
Well. Then I just sped it up a little bit and tried to make it feel a bit better, and that's probably the most important thing when you're playing a strumming pattern, is making it feel good, because if it doesn't feel good for you, it's not going to feel good for the listener. So you've got to get, first of all, the actual basic rhythm pattern sorted out, and then you want to try and make it feel good. Try and really relax into it and make it sit nicely. It should feel comfortable, old pair of shoes kind of comfy while you're playing it. That's the idea. Now let's take a slightly more interesting one we've got here. I've got, somebody said to circle beat 1, then the and after 1, the and after 2, and beat 4. Okay, so 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, so really good way to kind of practice these things is to say the ones where you're going to strum and whisper the other ones, okay? But remember that your hand is going to move all the time, and you're only going to play on the ones that you circled. In this case, 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Okay, let's play it real slow first of all. 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 4, 1 and 2 and 4.
By the way, I'm definitely not muting this this string here. That's kind of causing an issue. Kind of causing an issue because I'm worrying about the string. Well, if I'm hitting the string, I'm not gonna bother, to be honest.
The and after 2 and beat 4. Okay, so 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, so really good way to kind of practice these things is to say the ones where you're going to strum and whisper the other ones, okay? But remember that your hand is going to move all the time and you're only going to play on the ones that you circled. In this case, 1 and 4. Okay, let's play it real slow first of all. 3, 4, 1 and 2. Now, let me play that one a little bit faster and try and make it kind of feel a bit more natural again. So here, 3, 4, 1, 4.
No. Not gonna happen.
Actually, that one feels really nice. It's probably not the most common strumming pattern, but it's really good. Let me do the same thing again, changing chords with a... Now, here's another part of this little journey. If you realize that you can actually strum on any of them, you kind of get a better feeling for where this idea of variations comes from. Now, I did it straight away kind of instinctively, even though I was kind of trying, in inverted commas, to be able to keep the strumming pattern the same and just apply it to different chords. I naturally started to introduce a couple of other strums, and that's okay. So long as the hand keeps moving all the time, that is fine. That is the key thing. And there are exceptions, okay? For more advanced guitar players, there are times where you would deviate from this, but nearly all people, nearly all the time, strum this way. People that are not schooled, that have never learned to play guitar, they end up doing rhythm guitar like this. And if you watch people play guitar, you'll see that it's that way nearly all the time. Sometimes it's a lot faster, the hand might be moving a lot faster, but it's the consistency that's the real key thing here, okay? So there was one pattern, 1 and 4. Sorry, 1 and 4 was that one that we just did. Let's have a little chat now about manipulating the pattern, because this can be kind of fun as well. Probably the most common strumming pattern of all time, I call it Old Faithful in a lot of my books, is down, down, up, up, down, which is 1, 2, and 4. 1, 2, and 4. Okay, real common. You definitely know this one. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Okay, I'm sure you've heard that one. It's probably half of all songs of all time have been written using this strumming pattern, right? It's real super common. But a real fun thing, if you understand the idea that we've just got these 8 strums in the bar and we're circling or choosing which ones we're going to strum, you could manipulate that pattern around a little bit and try something else. So maybe we could go, funnily enough, if we went 1 and, we moved the strum on beat 2 to the and after 1, 1 and 4, we've almost got the pattern I was mucking around with before. That one would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, etc. Maybe we could change the and after 2 and move it on to beat 3. So we'd have 1, 2, 3 and 4. 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 Okay, that one works as well. Maybe we go back to Old Faithful and we move the one on beat 4 to the and after 4. So we end up with 1, 2 and 1. 2 and 1, 2 and 1, 2 and 1. Sounds a little bit funny at that speed again, but
way too fast for me.
Okay, it's just, there's so much stuff that you can do here where you can either take patterns that you already know and manipulate them slightly. You can start from afresh and just write down literally your 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and circle a few random ones. I did mention before that I'd recommend at the beginning starting off by circling beat 1, just because it helps with the solidity and understanding where the groove is and where you are in the bar. But it's totally cool to miss it out. In fact, a lot of the really hip patterns don't have a strum on beat 1. Just to give you an example, if we circle the and after 1, beat 2, the and after 2, and then the and after 3, and beat 4. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. We end up with this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Notice 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Miss up, down, up, miss up, down. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. A little bit faster. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 4. 1 and 2.
That is not gonna happen. But 1. 1 I got my nail stuck in it. And I'm not muting the string, by the way. Oh no. This is too complicated. That's already not right. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 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 and 4. Yeah, I don't know why I'm even trying to do any of this.
Again, so many variations and so much fun to be had here. Now, what you'll probably find if you muck around with this a little bit more on your own and just literally write down on a piece of paper 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and circle some, try it out, see which ones feel good, see which ones don't, because you're going to find some just feel a bit lumpy. And it might be that it would work in a certain circumstance that you're not familiar with or whatever, but just try them, because you're going to find you'll learn a lot about what works well for you, what sounds of what strumming patterns you like. Do remember, I'm just going to remind you again, the making it feel good thing. Okay, so don't just play it once and kind of while you're not familiar with it, because it's likely when it's very new to feel a bit lumpy and a bit kind of unco anyway. So you need to practice a little bit and really try and relax into it and see what feels good for you. Now, with a little bit of practice, you're going to start recognizing strumming patterns more as well, because you've experimented with it a bit. When you hear a strumming pattern on a song, and you know, I get emails all the time, what's the strumming pattern for this one? What's the strumming pattern for that one? If you get good at doing this, you'll just hear it. Especially if you can keep your hand moving and go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, and try and count with your hand movement 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and just kind of imagine strumming along, you know, without playing the guitar, moving your hand along with the track so that you're in time with it, and then try and register where the strumming is happening, where you're hearing the strumming on the track in relation to your hand. Okay, you got it. This is a really big deal, because once you get used to this idea, it's kind of set. That's it. That's all there is. That's all there is. That's exaggerating, okay? This is one of those things that you really have to play with more than think about. So make sure you give this plenty of playing and less thinking. You need a little bit of thinking time to write down the patterns, to consolidate the idea in your mind so that you understand what's going on. But it's the playing of it that will help you the most. Okay?
Wow, 1,800 free guitar lessons there, it says in the banner.
Spending some time just practicing keeping the hand moving and doing random strumming can also help. So imagining you've got this 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2. It doesn't, I'm not really going for a set pattern there. I'm just making sure I keep my count solid, keeping my foot tapping on the beat, keeping my arm easy and moving exactly in time as well. Remember that your foot should be tapping on the beat, the 1, 2, 3 and the 4, same as your hand moving down. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and should foot be tapping and that down strum at the same time. So your foot is likely, your foot or your leg is going to be lifting at the same time as your hand. Okay, so those things should stay together, making sure you count on the beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. You can count all of them if you like. I tend to only count the ands when I'm playing them. That's my personal preference, but a lot of guys seem to prefer counting all of the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and as well, and that's totally fine. It's up to you. It's your decision how you're going to use this stuff. The thing that I can tell you for sure is that if you practice this enough, get really good at it, your strumming and your rhythm guitar playing will skyrocket. You won't struggle to hear strumming patterns, you won't struggle to play them. You'll find it a lot easier to play with another guitar player because you'll just be aware of what's possible with the strumming. If they're doing one pattern, you can either join them with it straight away because you recognize it, or you can try and find a complementary pattern. You know, this stuff is really, really powerful. So I've given you the tools here in this lesson. Now it's your job to go and work with the tools and put the hard work in. The practice shouldn't feel like hard work, really. It's guitar playing. It's fun. We should appreciate the time that we get to spend guitar and not think of it as hard work. But this kind of strumming pattern, repetition, can feel a little bit boring, I guess, at times. And especially you want it to be automated. So you want to practice the strumming patterns that you love the most a lot. You need to practice them over and over and over again. Best way to do that is just to practice here without a chord and get a pattern going, and then see if you can talk over it. See if you can discuss what's going on for the weekly meals, or think about what you're doing at school or work or whatever it is. You know, can you do that? Can you really think about it? I just made a mistake there, I think. But can you really think and play at the same time? Think about other stuff, right? That's a pretty big deal, but it's one of the things, if you're going to sing and play at the same time, you can't expect to be able to think about the chord changes.
I was just thinking that that weird thing there, where his hand is on the guitar, kind of looks like my pick. It looks like it's made out of the same stuff as well. This is a Jim Dunlop medium celluloid pick. Kind of looks like exactly the same material and colour.
And go and then see if you can talk over it. See if you can discuss what's going on for the weekly meals, or think about what you're doing at school or work or whatever it is. You know, can you do that? Can you really think about it? I just made a mistake there, I think. But can you really think and play at the same time? Think about other stuff, right? That's a pretty big deal, but it's one of the things, if you're going to sing and play at the same time, you can't expect to be able to think about the chord changes and strumming and singing in tune and all of that sort of stuff if you can't even hold a rhythm together. Okay, so that in itself is a really great exercise, but you want to do that only with the patterns that you really like. Okay, so go through a whole bunch of different patterns, pick the ones that really resonate with you, and then work on them, trying to get completely automated.
None of them
So
resonate
look,
with me.
I'm sure you've got some questions. Please leave them in the comments below. Let me know what other problems that you've got with your rhythm guitar, and I'll see if I
None
can
of
help you
them
out.
resonate.
As usual, there'll be plenty of more notes over on the website as well, including a PDF chart that you can print out and then circle your numbers as well. So head over to the website. There'll be a link in the description. If you're on the website already, you'll find the PDF download in the column under the lesson list there. Well, I really hope you enjoyed that lesson. Please do hit that subscribe button if you're on YouTube and you dig what I do. I really appreciate the support. So go on, hit that subscribe button. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Remember, hundreds and hundreds more lessons for free over on the website. So do go and check it out. Plenty of exciting things to be discovered. I'll see you for plenty more lessons very soon. You take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.
I can tell that this is going to be a big problem for me, the strumming stuff. And we got another strumming lesson after this. Let's see this one.
Hey, how you doing? Justin back with you. I hope you enjoyed that video about strumming and you've got a better understanding of the big picture and how it works. Now, at this point you can start making up your own strumming patterns if you like. Probably the best way of learning new strumming patterns is when you encounter them in a song that you like, or feeling one out that kind of works really well for a song that you like. Okay? It becomes a little bit freer. Some songs do have a very specific strumming pattern, but most don't. Most you can kind of apply whatever strumming pattern it is that you really like. One of the key things to remember is that if you add in extra strums, it doesn't matter, it's okay. Or if you leave some out, it's okay. Now, generally speaking, every 4 or 8 bars, rhythmically something changes, particularly with drums. They do some sort of small variation. The drum pattern would be the same all the time, but then every 4, 8 or 12 or 16 bars, there'd be some sort of little drum fill where they do just something slightly different. And on guitar that can work really well as well, just to have a little change if you're doing, you know, down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, down. Here's the 4th time, maybe go down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, up, down. So it's the same pattern most of the time, but occasionally you pop in a little variation there. It actually sounds pretty musical to do that kind of thing. If you think about it, if you're already worried about other stuff, you're worried about strumming in time, or you're thinking about singing or struggling with the chords, you shouldn't be worrying about it, okay? It's just one of those things to be aware of, that if you're strumming and you notice yourself adding in some extra strums now and then, that's totally cool. Don't worry about it. In fact, it can be something worth practicing. Now, I would recommend that you find a few patterns that you really like to do for your practice, and the big thing that you want to be working on is the relaxed arm and trying to get that real nice continuous movement thing. Okay, that really is the foundation of all of this strumming. If you can get the nice relaxed continuous movement of the arm, none of the strumming patterns are going to be very difficult. One nice one that I think that is the one that I worked on for this week was going down, up, 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 down, up, 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 which is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and down, up, 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 down, up, 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 down, up, down, up, up, and then just putting in some variations. That can and 1.
One and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and oh no 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and what's going on in my picking hand? 1 and I'm gonna use, I don't know, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and yeah, so good luck with that.
And along with the metronome as often as you can.
Oh, I never
Developing
used
that sense of time, of staying at the right tempo, the right speed, is really, really important. And practicing with the metronome is the best way of doing that. You also want to try and get that focus on the feeling of being relaxed with the metronome. So it's not like you're chasing it, it's not like you're anticipating it, you just got this feeling of sitting comfortably with the click. It's the same as the feeling that you get playing with a drummer. Okay, it's a little bit more mechanical feeling because it's a metronome and it's very precise, but you should still have a relaxed feeling. It's not about it being robotic, it's about it feeling good. And the way to do that is to relax into it. Just work on, you've got to concentrate on the metronome, but as soon as you're kind of with it, you want to try and relax your whole feeling. Your whole personality should be relaxed and trying to sit with it. Okay, it's almost, I keep using this word try to, but it's about not trying. It's about just letting it happen. And it's kind of it's one of those things, it's a really difficult thing to teach. But I think if you concentrate on being relaxed and trying to make it feel nice, that's the best way to find that thing on your own. But some of that is your own personal journey as well. Just a little thing as well to start being aware of is dynamics, which is how hard and how soft you strum. Now, we're going to talk about this a lot more during the course a little later on. But just starting to be aware of how hard you're hitting, and the fact that you can choose to hit louder and softer when you strum can be a really valuable thing. A nice just a little exercise just to try, we're going to be doing more of this later on, is just strumming normal and then see how soft you can go. Keeping the tempo roughly the same. Then back to normal and how loud you can go. And then back to normal and how soft you can go. Now a lot of this is how you hold the pick. So something just to be aware of, when you want to play really softly, you have to hold the pick really lightly. And if you're holding the pick really lightly, it moves around more. It's more likely to fall out of your fingers. But you'll find that with a bit of practice, your fingers will kind of find a way of manipulating the pick. It'll happen by itself. Sometimes it's this middle finger that gets involved with just kind of controlling where the tip is. Sometimes it's just a little wobble of the first finger and the thumb that kind of manipulates it. But don't worry about it too much. You will find that it'll kind of sort itself out, but be aware that there's going to be a little bit of movement there. I often see beginners kind of stop and have to rejig with their other hand and move the pick. But you want to try and learn to do it within that pick in hand, just to be able to manipulate it if it falls out of place from holding it too lightly. In the previous lesson, there was also a little sheet where you could print out and circle some of the strums to make up your own strumming patterns. Do keep a record of the strumming patterns that you really like and spend a bit of time working on those, because as we start approaching other things, you might forget a bit about strumming, and it's one of those things that can really help to consciously revisit. So strumming practice is going to be 2 minutes with the metronome each session. You could stick with one pattern or you could try different patterns, but one of the things that you want to build up is this playing the one pattern more or less continuously. You can put those variations in if you want, but you want to be able to keep doing the strumming pattern fairly consistently while you think about other stuff, learning to distract yourself a bit in preparation for worrying about chord changes or singing or communicating with the band or whatever. So you do want the strumming thing to become automated.
Yeah. Not likely anytime soon. Not sure if I should continue at the moment. I did want to do everything in one day, but time is annoying. So not sure. Should I continue with another vid? I might do. I might not. I won't. I'll stop there for today. The strumming stuff goes over my head, really. And then the next one is understanding music notes. I guess I'll watch the rest of it tomorrow. And yeah, I haven't done any Module 4 practice today. So that's a shame. Could have done some practicing, but I guess I'll leave it till tomorrow now, when I do the Module 5 practice. So, yeah. Bye!